You know, I honestly feel kind of bad making videos like this, because these kind of videos where we update everybody with what's going on, it's just pretty much me reading tweets. Not gonna lie, this kind of thing is really not difficult to do, and if you're thinking that I'm some genius for being able to put together a video like this, then you're probably wrong about that, but because this is the most viable way to go along with this, let's talk about the Vancouver Canucks, go through a boatload of tweets from Sportsnet 650, Rick Dhaliwal, Brendan Batchelor, a whole bunch of people, and just string it all together to form a narrative that updates us with pretty much the entire situation that the Vancouver Canucks are going through right now. So, let's go over with Rick Dhaliwal's tweet first. This was from September 5th. He tweeted about Michael Ferland. This is an update from his agent, Jason Davidson, who says that he talks with Mike and the Canucks, and he knows that Mike talks to the Canucks and the doctors as well. Ferland is feeling well. I talked to Jim Benning, but that's all I'll say. I plan on talking with Jim again soon. So, even though this is bare bones, it still gives us a little bit of a status on Michael Ferland. Apparently he's okay, so we don't know if that's going to be good enough for him to actually suit up for this team next season. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't, though, to be honest, just inserting my own personal opinion in there, because we all kind of know what happened with Michael Ferland. He's been taken out quickly, and he didn't even compete for the rest of the play-in series against the Minnesota Wild because he had those same problems. But instead of going on about Ferland, let's go over onto Tyler Toffoli and give some updates on him. This is what Pat Brisson, Tyler Toffoli's agent, told Rick Dhaliwal. Tyler was a strong addition to the Canucks at the deadline. He loved the city, the team, and enjoyed his time in Vancouver. I will be open to having discussions with Jim Benning at the appropriate time. Now, the immediate reaction right here from young Judd is kind of perfect. Isn't the appropriate time right now? Because, hey, you guys got eliminated. The free agency period opens up in October. You guys got a month to do this. What do you mean appropriate time? It's appropriate now. But continuing on about Tyler Toffoli, let's go on to what Jim Benning said at his press conference earlier yesterday about the recent Vancouver Canucks acquisition. He's a veteran player. He was supposed to be out almost twice the amount of time he was before the playoffs. I talked to Petey, and he said that Toffoli really helped him out. This is what Arfon Gafar said on the matter. Benning said that Toffoli was supposed to be out twice as long as he was, but Toffoli wanted to come back early. He chatted with Pettersson, who said that Toffoli was really good in the room as a veteran guy helping the younger guys get ready for games 5, 6, and 7. So immediately, just talking about Tyler Toffoli, this guy apparently really did string things together because he wanted to get back out there on the ice when it was expected that he wouldn't recover so quickly. So we actually were not supposed to see Toffoli suit up for the Canucks in that second game against Vegas, where he ended up scoring an early goal and getting an extra 2 assists or something like that. I forgot what it was, but he had a few points in that game, and the Canucks would not have won that game, in my opinion, if they didn't have Toffoli in, so he honestly pretty much helped contribute to the Canucks actually being able to tie the series in that way. And talking about how he was actually really good in the room with Pettersson and the young guys, that certainly is a very nice thing to see as well. But the agent said it himself, man. He loved the city and he enjoyed his time here. It adds all the more flavor to the whole conversation as to whether or not Toffoli is going to re-sign. Another guy that's a UFA, though, is Chris Tanev, whose agent, Wade Arnott, said this, as reported by Rick Dhaliwal. Chris Tanev has always stated that his desire is to re-sign in Vancouver, and that hasn't changed. We'll see how the Canucks wish to proceed. Benning on the matter said this, that Tanev is a big part of the heart and soul of our team. If we can get him signed, I would like to get him signed. That word, though, at the beginning of that sentence is a big one, though. It's only 2 letters, but it's a big word. If. Moving on to other Vancouver Canucks right-handed defensemen who are in need of contracts, Troy Stecher is next up here too. This is what his agent said, which is reported by Rick Dhaliwal too. At some point, the Canucks will reach out, and I look forward to those conversations. Troy believes in this team. It reminds me of the group that he won a national title with at North Dakota. Dhaliwal says that there were casual talks with Stecher's contract during the season. And Stecher is honestly one of the more interesting ones because the fact that a Brogan Rafferty does exist on this Vancouver Canucks depth chart as well certainly makes the whole Stecher idea a lot more interesting. Whether or not his services are all too needed on this team with the additions that they can replace him with, Stecher's a Richmond boy. We know he absolutely loves playing for this Vancouver Canucks team, especially in that press conference where somebody asked him if he was thinking about this being his last time playing in Vancouver, where he straight up said no. Next question. This guy loves being here, so we'll see how conversations go along with Troy Stecher as well. Going on to another RFA, though, this is what Tyler Motte's agent said, reported by Dhaliwal. Tyler Motte wants to be a part of this group in Vancouver going forward, and we hope to make that happen with a new contract. I just personally hope that Tyler Motte's new contract isn't super expensive, because realistically, he was like one of the best players in the entire playoffs. Not gonna lie, Tyler Motte was an absolute destroyer of worlds, and everybody who's watched the games can agree with that. Just the way this guy played. Goals, shorthanded goals, shot blocks, penalty killing. This guy did it all. And man, he needs a contract, eh? Next up, though, let's talk about Jacob Markstrom and talk about what Benning said about Marky. He said this: I talked to Jacob's agent yesterday. He is an important guy in our group. He's a leader. He was the MVP of our team over the course of this season, and we want him back. We'll start working on that this week. So maybe around this time in about 5 days, we actually will get the decision from Marky, from the Canucks, as to whether or not the Canucks will actually be able to re-sign him or if they'll decide on something else. But Benning's been very adamant that Markstrom is a very valuable piece of this team. Benning also said that Markstrom was actually back skating, and if the Canucks beat Vegas in Game 7, Marky may have been around for the next series. On the whole Markstrom versus Demko debate, though, this is what Benning said: I believe we need to have two good goalies. It was nice to see him get a chance and see him rise to the occasion. Ian Clark has worked really hard with him. To see him play that well was nice for everyone involved. So there you have it. Two good goalies. Well, how exactly is that going to go forward into the expansion draft? Well, Benning said that the Canucks can go into next season with Markstrom and Demko, and then make the decision at the trade deadline ahead of the expansion draft. Okay, that is the perspective we brought up on our video a few days ago, talking about how the best case scenario would be to re-sign Markstrom, then flip him at the trade deadline for assets, keep Demko, roll him out as the number one for the remainder of time, and not have to risk losing any of these guys for nothing to Seattle. How plausible is that? I don't know. But continuing on with Benning quotes talking about trades, this is what he said about the GM front of things. I've had some calls from other general managers this morning now that we're out of the playoffs. We're going to get a good read on the marketplace before the draft, and we'll react to that. Having said that, it still stings being out. You're still a little bit mad. And yeah, I'm pretty mad too, don't worry. We have a lot of business ahead, Benning says. Benning also said this, that it's a conversation that he is going to have with the ownership when it comes to spending cap. The goal for the Canucks is to make the playoffs going forward and progress as an organization and a team. So we talked about this a few videos ago too. They want to make the playoffs next year. They want to make the playoffs in 2 years. They want to continue to do that. And we'll see how their trades align with that kind of goal. And furthermore, with all this re-signing stuff, how are they going to free up money? Well, Benning says one way that they are not going to use to free up money, he will not be moving first and second round draft picks to move out money. So no Eriksson and a first for a fourth round pick kind of trade going on over here. No using the picks as sweeteners. It's kind of funny because we don't even have too many picks anyway. But if it's not first or seconds, who is it going to be? Well, Benning says they may have to make some tough decisions, maybe even on some younger players. I'll tell you who those players aren't going to be: Juolevi and Chatfield, because these two guys are going to be in the mix. They had a good training camp, and they could have played if the Canucks needed them. Benning likes the depth they have on the blue line going forward, and some of these good young defensemen can push for jobs. On the subject of Olli Juolevi, Benning thinks that he can play in the NHL full-time. And man, if it's Olli Juolevi time for 2020-2021, then sign me up. It means we're probably not going to have either Ben or Fantenberg on this team next season. So, getting back to that idea of trades, we talked about how Juolevi may not be a guy that Benning wants to trade. So, let's talk about guys that he may trade. Jake Virtanen right here. Jake Virtanen was a guy that Benning was expecting to do more for him in the playoffs. And this one comment on the radio where Jim Benning noted how Virtanen was doing well and all that, but that how he expected more out of Jake. It got everybody saying the same thing. Sayonara, Jake. I'm sorry, but you're out of here. There's no way he's sticking around here now. He's an RFA. He needs a contract. The Canucks don't have money. When you're talking about guys that the Canucks are more likely to move than others, Jake Virtanen's name with this individual quote has just shot up to the top of that list. And it sucks, because he's right from Abbey, man. He is a Vancouver local. But who knows? I mean, maybe this may be wrong, too. Maybe he doesn't even get traded in general. Maybe he signs a 5-year extension. Who knows? But the quote from Benning, man, doesn't really seem all too great. Furthermore, on the difficult decisions front, this is what Satyr Shah said about that individual quote. These decisions will include a desire to add another puck-moving defenseman. Keep an eye on Tyson Barrie being linked to Vancouver in free agency. Okay, Satyr. I see you, fam. Man, that's an entirely other video topic on its own. In fact, so many of these little stories right here could be video topics on their own that go for at least 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes long, but we're condensing it over here, and we're not even done, because the last piece of news we have is on Elias Pettersson, Quinn Hughes. This is what Elias Pettersson's agent said on the matter of contract negotiations. Until now, Elias has been singularly focused on the playoffs. Now it's time for him to decompress and take a break. So it does not seem like we will have an immediate signing of contract extensions on either of those two. This is a tweet from Brendan Batchelor where Benning is also talking about that Petey and Hughes contract extension conversation. I don't know if we're going to do that. We have a lot of work to do next month to get ready for the draft and unrestricted free agency. But if we do, it'll be sometime after that. So we're not going to have any short-term Pettersson or Hughes contract negotiations or conversations or signings anytime soon. So, it's been a long time. Comment down below what you think about all of this stuff, man. The Ferland health issues, Motte, Toffoli, Stecher, Tanev, these UFAs and RFAs, a Jake Virtanen trade, maybe, maybe not. Olli Juolevi making the team full-time next year. The Vancouver Canucks not trading any draft picks. Pettersson and Hughes contract extensions, the Markstrom Demko thing. I said it in the title, man. This is a huge, huge news and rumors update. Absolutely huge, but it's coming to an end here. Comment down below what you think about any of this stuff. Also, if you want to see full-length videos on this channel on any of these subjects, please let me know in the comment section below. I'm always looking for new conversation topics to bring. I hope you enjoyed this video. That's 99, and bye.